other stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Putting up curtains and packing.
Packing? Where are you going?
Alabama.
Oh, that's right. You guys are going down. When are you leaving?
Thursday morning at 6:00.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. Putting up curtains and packing.
Okay. Cool beans. You look like you are cozy over there.
I just wrapped my sweater around my legs.
You know what? I have on some shorts because, girl, I went outside and I worked out outside today. It was like,
oh, fun.
yeah, I had on long sleeves, but it was
right,
still
right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I understand that right now we're the coldest it's going to be all day. So
that's all right. Yay. Right, right. Yeah.
So
it's been so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Yes. So I'm excited. You know what? There's a part of me that really wants to, I'm like chomping at the bit because I'm building a table for my upstairs porch. And the reason why I'm building it is because I don't want it there constantly. So I bought these it's like a shelf hook that you can either lift down or you like can put up. Yeah. Yeah. So it locks up and then so it'll blend into the rest of the banister when I want it there. And then I could just fold it down when I don't.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So I would really love to get to work on it.
My picture is frozen. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see that. Like, I was wondering why your mouth wasn't moving.
I'm a ventriloquist. I don't know why I'm frozen, but I am.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back out and come back in.
Okay. So I'm excited about my little table. And so I would really love to get that done and built today but I'm not because I need to finish up my taxes. I got to finish up my taxes. And then once I finish up my taxes, then I could get back into my yard stuff. Anyway, there she is. Okay.
I don't know what that was about. Okay. I'm back.
Yeah, but today I got to finish up my taxes.
Oh, good for you. I'm not doing those until I get back.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah. You know what? I had actually the funny thing is that I was stressing because my 1099s, one of them was wrong, actually. So they sent me out one that was not correct. Then they sent me out a corrected version that was not correct. And so then I was like, I had yeah. So then I started searching. I was like, okay, let me open up because I got envelopes that I haven't even opened, mail that I haven't opened, right? So I started going through mail and I found one that was closer to correct.
Okay.
That was much closer to correct. And so now that I found one that's closer to being correct, I'm going to then do my taxes based on that closer one, because I didn't want to submit something that was just totally
way off.
Yeah. So, but of course, since we've been on this shutdown, I don't drive nearly as much.
Right.
I make quite a bit of money because I think this is not quite a bit of money. So y'all don't think that I'm just the totality of it, but I would get $50 an hour just to drive.
Okay.
So I had a pretty big territory that I was going in because I just, you know me, I'm like, I put a book on tape, put some gas in my tank and I'm gone. I'm, okay, a couple of hours, that's cool. Because I'm getting paid to drive.
Right.
So Yeah, so usually I'll have like on my invoices, on the back of my invoices, I put down the mileage because I know that's one of the things that I have to, put on my taxes. And so I ain't had none of that this year. So you can imagine that like cuts you, that, when you
Nice
used
little
to,
chunk, yeah.
yeah, when you used to, a few $100s every week just to drive. It's like, oh my gosh. So,
Oh,
but I will say, in my own defense, that, being self-employed, you go through these periods of feast or famine. So
that's it.
you
Better
never
learn.
know, yeah, from month to month, you don't have consistency.
Right.
And so I have been able to plan, you know, um, because I had some consistency. So I could say, hey, yeah, let's build this new porch, or hey, yes, get this electrical work all done. And so I've been able to do some stuff because I have been able to predict.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one good thing that has come out of this. And so I need to be able to better forecast.
With this new lifestyle that we're living in right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So good. And anyway, so I'm gonna sit that over to the side. We done with that. Mm. So just one of those things that, I love being self-employed. I love being my own, but at the same time, it's like unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm making up my own darn music. It's all good. Okay, so anyway, marvelous Sunday.
Yeah, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yoga was off the chain. It
Oh,
was so good. It was so good.
now, tell me
Um,
what makes yoga good for you.
um, the inner the inner awareness. My yoga instructor, she brings themes to the class every week, and so the theme, it seems to magically, because my life is magical, magically always be exactly what it is. And so this yoga lesson was on listening. So internal, your internal self, and so um that's right where if you do not go within, you will go without. And so it was just, I love when that happens, and my sister goes with me. And so when she mentions the lesson, my sister looks over at me, I'm like, and
Beautiful.
yeah, and so it was a slow flow, which makes, I love slow flow yoga. Especially when I'm in a certain space and I'm tired. I'm really exhausted from
Mhm.
everything that's been going on in my world. So the slow flow just felt good yesterday, and it was specific to our shoulders and our necks and our backs, which, with all the stuff that I'm carrying and holding,
Right. Mm-hmm.
it was just perfect. Like, it was just, I just love being in the midst of that. Yes, yes, of my journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Because usually, I always, when it's easy,
Mm,
I just be like, okay.
yeah. No, the
But girl,
poses aren't easy because you got to hold them in the slow flow.
right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just saying, so when I feel challenged is when I really feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm really achieving something. But it's really interesting because yeah, it can seem like a simple pose, but You know, that's kind of like I ask people about, you know, how heavy is a glass of water, right? How heavy is
Right.
this water? And then I tell people it depends on how long you got to hold it. Because
It's
the
true.
first minute it may just seem like it's just a little light glass of water, but if I got to hold this thing for 15 minutes,
It's
oh
true.
my gosh.
Yeah, it's true. So it was kind of like that. It's just good. And then I came home and did patient notes for a little bit, which is very difficult for me to do. It's hard for me to concentrate a lot of times, if I'm not doing it first thing in the morning. But I did that, and then I deep cleaned my vehicle because I wanted to be outside. I did my patient notes outside too, but I deep cleaned the inside of the car. I love when I do that, you know, because I put it off and put it off and put it off. You know, I'll run through the car wash, but that deep down clean and detailed between the seat type clean and taking everything out and, you know, doing the leather and then yeah. So I did that yesterday. Put the windows down and the music
Yeah.
blasting.
Erica had did a video one time about going to the car wash, and she was really feeling herself about this darn car wash. And I was thinking to myself, like, do people really get off on going to the car wash and clean out their car?
I do. I love
Like,
it. It just,
there's
I
some
actually, let me tell
combination.
you how much I love it. I got up this morning, went to the garage and opened up the car doors and be like, what's up? Like, yes, it was just,
Ah, oh, so I guess it's a thing.
especially it's something that you
Okay.
constantly every day you getting in your car. Like, I need to straighten this up. And my car is, I mean, you've seen my car is not like filthy, but it was just popcorn on the floor. And I have been carrying my golf clubs in the back seat. So all that goes along with that. So I cleaned out the trunk. So my golf clubs are nicely set in the trunk, nice and neat, where I can get to them all the time. And yeah, so it was a
Gretchen
thing for
says a
me.
car wash is her stimulated rainstorm.
Oh, I like that.
Like, okay. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
was like, I saw that doggone video of her like going down the street like she just got it, like she just got a check or something. I was like, okay, maybe it's a thing.
I love it. I
Okay, so
love
there's
it.
the answer. So good morning, Gretchen.
Light
All
on. Good
right.
morning, Gretchen.
Good morning, everybody.
Mm.
I'm so excited. It's Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I know some people are like, oh, it's Monday. But you know,
Me.
it's like always for me, begin again.
Yeah.
Begin, begin
Yeah.
again. That's kind of, you know, that's kind of one of those things. So it's all good. It's all good.
Marathon Monday is what I call it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, just begin again. How wonderful. Awesome is that? All right, so blessings to all of you. It is tax deadline day, and
Yes, it is.
um,
Mm.
I am claiming good over that as well. And knowing that everybody is doing exactly what they need to do, being in the places that they need to be in, it's going to be an amazing week. So I am excited to have you guys along on the journey. So we are claiming this next hour as good and very good, knowing that the words spoken here are filled with light, love, and wisdom of the highest. We are inviting in all kind of energies and spirit beings, light beings, teachers, ancestors, ascended masters, all of those on your path, on my path, so that we can guide our way, direct our way through the rest of this process. We're blessing it as done, claiming the victory already, and so it is.
It is.
Amen. And so I'm blessing each and every one of you and your family and all the things that you think are, you know, just like big at the moment, knowing that, you know,
Mm.
as we move through it, this too shall pass.
Yes,
Whatever
yes, yeah.
it is, this too shall pass. We just keep on moving. Keep on trucking, baby. My one girlfriend told me, I will pay you to shut up. Gotta keep on trucking. She was like, I will pay you to shut up. And I'm like, how much? It's like, is that all it takes? La, 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 la.
She didn't say how long you had to be quiet, right?
Right, that too. That too. So, all right. So we are in the root chakra, first chakra stuff. And
Yes. Carolyn.
yes.
Whatever.
Yes. Anatomy of the Spirit, Carolyn
Yeah.
and I'm excited about talking about this because and let me see, where did we so
Page 104.
page 104. Okay, and so we are talking about this is the tribal chakra. It has everything to do with not only the tribe that you are in. So whether it's your family, whether it's your community, your church, we talked about how the church provides a certain type of structure to whatever it is that is your group that you identify with. Sometimes it is a thought system that people kind of participate in. All of these things become part of a group kind of mentality, a group behavior. And so when we talk about this, we are talking about it from that perspective. And so she goes through here and she talks about how to look at your life in a particular way. So should we use the example that she gives about the country first? Would that help?
Yeah, that would help.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you how she talks about a lot about group consciousness when it comes down to the first chakra. So group consciousness can be just about anything, but one of the things that she chose to kind of talk about was a national consciousness. So and right now, since we're in a pandemic, this book was written, I don't know how many years ago. Let me look back. Who knew we would be in a pandemic at this time? 1996, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
how cool is that?
Yeah. So here's I'm gonna share with you what she talks about in here first. And she says that the tribal chakra represents our connections both to the positive and negative group experiences. Epidemics, she says, is a negative group experience, which can become energetically susceptible in our own personal first chakra fears, attitudes, similar to those held by a cultural's overall first chakra. So we talk about this in terms of our own body, but what we see on the micro level, which means that within our body system, also happens on a macro level, which
all
means,
the time.
yes, not only the country, but the world.
Mm-hmm.
So just because we take something and we're talking about it personally, we can also take that and extrapolate it and then put it on a cultural thing. So I want to put a bookmark in that because I want to come back and talk about that as far as it concerns us as a people, right? But on a bigger level. So she says in here, I'm on page 106 for Gretchen or whoever else is in there, that those bottom two paragraphs I'm going to sort of share with this. A dramatic example of the social tribes energy capacity to manifest an illness is in the polio epidemic of the 1930s and 40s. She said in October of 1929, America had an economic crash causing the Great Depression, and it infected the entire nation. And she says people described it as feeling as if they had been crippled by the economic disaster. So then the 1930s, the epidemic surfaced, the polio epidemic, and she says, and it symbolized a crippled spirit. Then she said that that it was susceptible to their energy, and they ended up, because of the entire tribe becomes infected with fear, and energy is then therefore extended to the children. So this sense of being crippled affected everybody. And then she talks about how we also elected a crippled president, Roosevelt, right? And so she kind of talks about how this idea of a crippled nation became, so it's contagious. Once you're in that mindset, then everything is informed by that. And she said, and then World War II came. Oh, and so wait a minute. So she did say that Roosevelt represented, yes, that that there is the president was crippled, and he represented weakness, but with an indomitable resilience, right? So we also have to see that at the same time that we are experiencing one thing, the other thing is also true. So let me give you an example of that, because one of the things I like to talk about this from our cultural perspective, or from a Black cultural perspective. There is this the slavery has cast a shadow over a culture, right? And through that, we talk about all the ways in which we have experienced so much stuff. Right now, there is a series that is on Netflix called The Underground Railroad. And I read the book. And I will tell you that it is so hard to watch, right? I'm trying to remember if I had a difficult time reading it, as opposed to watching it as it plays out on the TV. But that becomes a part of the consciousness. However, on the flip side of that, right, we have as a culture known that with all of the atrocities and all of the things that have happened, we who stand here today are survivors. We who stand here today are resilient. You can, somebody said something about baby kids. They don't die, they multiply, right? And so it becomes this awareness that on the flip side, that you are from a stock that has endured and shall endure. So that becomes part of this thing. So as she talks about Roosevelt, she says that he was shown as weakness. You see him on one hand as weakness, but with this indomitable resilience. And then comes on, wait a minute. Oh, okay. So Gretchen says, oh my God, that show at times has made me feel violently ill. Yeah, Gretchen, it's really hard to watch. But you know what, but even in that, I think that what we don't recognize is that stuff is based on truth that actually happened, right? And it's unimaginable, because we don't recognize too. The painful thing about this is that yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So but don't look away. That's what I always say, but don't look away, because there is a collective healing that needs to take place around some issues. So so then she talks about we have this president that, you know, that has this indomitable resilience, and then we enter into World War II, and World War II brought about this sense of you know, because it was a national thing, a sense of heroism, tribal unity, and then supported by a sudden like surge of jobs, restored pride, power, people feeling useful and part of a collective identity. So women were going to work and women were also taking part in this. And so it became a sense of honor for everybody to pull together and then to basically, you know, push through this wartime stuff. And it says by the end of the war, the American nation had assumed a global leadership role again. And in fact, it says the United States became the leader of the free world because they also brought with that they developed a nuclear weapon. And that brought about enormous pride and power to the tribal chakra. So this was like a resurrection or a recovery. And those things were, it says, reflected in the language and how we saw ourselves. And so they said that we were back on our feet again. So where polio had crippled, you know, that based on all these other things, you know, now we were back on our feet again and able to move forward and ultimately stronger. And so these kind of collective calamities can cripple a nation, right? And sometimes what we do is we have people who get caught up in being in a victim role, and that victim role can have an impact on how we engage and how we see others. So
and how we get up from a crisis.
Yeah. If we get up, yes. And so it becomes, all of this is part of this idea of the first chakra thing. So when you, so let me tell y'all a little story, because I was thinking about this. I had this friend. I'm just gonna say I had a friend. And this friend was, I would hear a lot of negative stuff about him, but he was my friend, right? And even though I would hear people say things about how mean he was, yeah, just some of the stuff that he did, I would hear people say stuff like that, but it never quite affected me. So I was like, you know how you are, you just like, I don't see that. That's not how he shows himself up to me, right? And so, you know, I just kind of like, okay, that's what they think, that's how they, you know, engage, blah blah blah. I ain't there, right? I just kind of let it go. Anyway, fast forward, I go through, you know, go through some years, and, you know, no issues like that. I was proud about the friendship that I had. And then finally, you know, there's a lot of stuff in between this, you know, a lot of things that, you know, where that happened and all of that stuff. So finally, when it became my turn to be at the effect of his wrath, then I really got it in a different way. Like, oh, right. And I saw that how the story that was in his mind was very different from what actually happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had, and I'm just going to give y'all an example. I had set some, you know, he came over to my house, and I had, I went outside and I set something up on the trunk of his car with the intent that when he came out, I was going to put it inside of the trunk. Well, for some reason, when he came out, he didn't realize that there was the stuff was on his trunk. And so he pulls off. And when he pulls off, he heard it fall. So then the story became that I vandalized his car when he was mad at me, right? I vandalized his car. It scratched his car. Like,
Who knew?
dude, it, you know, really? It was, and so depending upon how he saw you was how he defined the events as they unfolded. So he gave, if he wanted to perceive there as being drama, then he would take any little thing and make it dramatic. Anyway, I've found out or realized that through listening to him over and over again, he had a lot of issues with his father. His father and him were at one point just, he felt betrayed by him. He felt attacked by him. He had all of these issues with his dad, as did his siblings, right? And so when you have an issue with your family, that is first chakra stuff. That is
always
tribal stuff. So when he came back later to tell me that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer,
makes sense.
It goes right in line with this whole tribal issue, that where you have the problems or the contentions, they begin to take root in that particular area. Sometimes, like it says, like we talked about yesterday, sometimes the first and second chakra issues will resonate to, for women, it'll resonate to breast issues, because that's where we do our nurturance from. But by and large, it talks about the lower level anatomy.
I mean, even your fibroids for women, and the development of it is a violation of some type of something from the family of origin, whether your voice couldn't be heard, or it was shameful to be a girl. And it's little subtle things like my mom said, all I wanted was 6 boys.
Oh, ouch.
And she just would say it so cavalier. She probably would still be saying it today. I don't know. She hasn't said it in a long time. But she totaled with her grandsons, like she pretty much got what she wanted. But it was 2 girls first, and then my little brother. He and I are 6 years apart. But growing up hearing that, you don't think nothing of it. I didn't. I didn't realize the impact of it until I started doing the work that I do. And I realized, wow, like you just were speaking that over me and my sister. And, when you look back over some experiences or interactions, unconsciously to her, there was interactions that said, that's why I only wanted 6 boys, because my mom is a yard worker, just she rough, but she get it in. And so it would make sense that would be in her mind. But you just don't understand the impact of those little drops. It's like a corrosion onto a rock. You don't see the transformation of a rock as it's transforming. But if you go to Squaw Rock today, that's not the same Squaw Rock that I grew up in. It's different because it's changing with the subtle falls of the leaves and the rain and all of that. And so little tiny statements like that can create man up, stop crying, you wear your shoulders on your sleeves, you talk too much. All those little things are statements that go into the bone marrow of the body, and then it does whatever work that it does because we're conscious.
Yeah, so I have another friend who, her father, his term of, he adored her, but his term of endearment was he would call her his little monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if she ever told him about how offensive that was,
How it impacts her. Yeah.
but you know, to this day, I mean, it's just little stuff like, oh, you know, she don't want bananas nowhere.
It is funny, but it's not funny because it really does impact us like that. It's just so, it's so cool, but it's also so like, oh my gosh, like we are so powerful beyond our realization.
Yes, yes, yes. And so sometimes it is the embarrassment of something, sometimes it is something, you know, something else. I have friends who get caught in cycles of I'll call it self-loathing, right? Can you imagine what it is like for a 4-year-old to have its mother say, you weigh too much or you're too fat, and start putting you on a diet at 4 years old? The impact that that has over the years, that always tells you or always sends to you this message that as you are not perfect, you are not enough. This constant striving to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
just,
And you change a narrative, it's such an illusion, but you're working your whole journey to change a perception that is given to you by the outer world, and it makes sense that you would now try to change the perception of you from the outer world. Even with this whole polio and World War II, that was all external efforts to change an internal problem.
mhm.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, so much of what people go through and what they experience comes from out of these subtle messages, sometimes subtle, sometimes not so subtle. These messages about
Who we
you know,
are.
life. Yeah, yeah. So sometimes it is through the things that we hear repeatedly, right? Beliefs, um, you know, superstitions. You know, when we talk about you know, just behaviors, right? Because I know that I remember hearing constantly, I want to say that my family, we came up in the Baptist church, and it was always like you were trying to outrun the devil, right? That you were just trying not to be that wayward sinner kid. But I also felt like I had absolutely no choice in the matter. So at a certain point I had to make peace with it. And when you make peace
That's
with that,
good.
yeah, when you make peace with that, it's almost like you set yourself up for the failure, right? Because I'm just like sitting up there saying, all right, I'm gonna handle it later. But but all of those things contribute. So if you grow up hearing the narrative, last hired, first fired,
Mm.
or if you grow up hearing the narrative, what is it that some women will tell you that they don't trust other women,
Yes.
or that they don't like women, and it's like, you know, when one of these days, or one of those days when all of a sudden I look and I'm thinking to myself like, damn, I love women, right? I had to actively change my mind.
Wow.
That is
Mm-hmm.
the conversation that you would hear all the time from people. So it becomes this thing of actually changing your mind, about some of the things that you've heard. And like Stephanie was saying, not only do you change your mind, then it's almost like you feel like you got to run in the other direction. And that just reminded me of that movie, Men of Honor, right? Where
Don't
Cuba,
remember that. I mean, I remember hearing that, but I don't remember the details of that.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was a Navy
Uh-huh.
diver. And, you know, he used to have to wear this heavy gear and dive up under the water. And so when he went back into court with Robert De Niro, and he was trying to prove that he could still be a Navy diver, even though he didn't have his leg. He was like, they were like, you got to be able to put this rig on and take 10 steps. And so, you know, Robert De Niro, his commanding officer, walks in there and he starts saying, get up. You know, he says, Navy diver, so and so, get up and give me my 10 steps, you know. And so it's this image of, in spite of the heaviness and the pain and all of this stuff, he still pushed forward. Oh, it was one of those movies that just kind of like, in spite of all the racism and the efforts to keep him down, he still rose. And so it's one of those things that just kind of like shows you the resilience and the respect that you get from keeping moving forward.
Yeah, even the self-respect, because what we talked about, you know, the if we stay in the present moment, all the stuff from the past begins to make sense.
Yes.
And in the present moment, you're awake and aware, you're not sleeping. And so you can then all of the things from the past just kind of show up, and you begin to hear and learn and become available to so much fruit that's available to us that is different from our family of origin, that is different. That's why you know, I'm on this journey called life right now. I understand and have always understood, but I understand now, like to the core of my bones, is that I have always understood the collective consciousness has the power, but I didn't know this language. But I've always been that girl that was like, can you imagine what it would be like if we didn't get no more spankings? Can you imagine what it would be like if everybody was too sensitive? You know, because then you wouldn't be yelling at me. You know, I used to always think like that. What would it be like if everybody graded their paper before turning it in? It would make you study. You know, if you could grade your own paper, if you would do this, then she don't have to grade our papers. We know we got this and we can go on to some higher learning. But I used to imagine what would it be like. And so now it just comes so natural for me now, as opposed to efforting so hard to get others to see my ideas or whatever. I understand now that it's a collective consciousness and that everybody has to learn to change their paradigm, and that it comes with steps. It comes with this experience and the next experience and the next experience and the next experience. But we do impact this entire world. Everything impacts this place. And
Yeah. But you know, I also recognize like the opposite of that, right? That we always need the people that, you know, could care less.
The sandpaper.
Yes. Because one of the things that I also recognize is that if we did not have those bold ass people who could care less about, you know, crossing their T's and dotting their I's, we wouldn't have the music we have, or we wouldn't have the audacious spirit of look, a Beyonce kind of spirit, because she gotta, you know, I don't know, maybe she got to stay in formation, right? I don't know, but it takes all of showing up, showing up fully how we are. So we got the people over here that are the smart bookworms, and then we got people over here who are the rabble rousers, and we got the people over here, but we're all subject to that collective consciousness. And so one of the things that I talk about constantly is how often what we do is that we let, I don't want to call it dominant culture, but we let the media infect or affect how we think about things.
Well,
So
the media is like our parents growing up.
okay, yeah, you know, and but it is this insidious way that they have of controlling the conversation all the time. So if so basically all they got to do is like, I'm gonna throw a bone out there and let these little,
See what happens.
gnaw on it, let them chew on it. And then we'll go over here, because now they gnawing on this bone. They don't see the other stuff we're doing over here. So it's almost as if they tell us what's important and what to focus on, while all of this other stuff goes on in the background. And
we can do that now on such a mass scale because the way things have been set up, and our families of origin now become in question. And then anyway, it's just weird. Our family of origins speak to who we are before we realize who we are. And they can get away with it. Social media can get away with it because of all the wobbliness that's in our vibrations. And everybody, I believe, is trying to get a hold of that first chakra and light it up. But when you don't know what it is that you're lighting, then you're following this and you're following this and you're following that. And it's true, it was on the internet. Everybody's kind of like following their, I don't know, not their anything, but that first chakra has to be solid. And that's what I got from this chapter, that is such a solid place for us. And yet it seems in my imagination sometimes that it's intentionally being tampered with.
I think that all of this stuff is geared towards distracting us from the power that we have. People have told us that, I mean, they tell us in school that you're only using 10% of your brain's capacity, if that.
Why is that? And you okay with it? You repeat that like it's a great song to sing.
Right. and so that's what they say. But then the other part of that is, and let's make sure that you never find out how to use the rest of it.
Right? Exactly.
Let's make sure of that. And so what do? We make sure of it by giving you a lot of stuff to distract your attention away from how powerful you truly are. And so when we learn how to shift that consciousness, when we learn how to take back control of some of these issues, then we really get there. So tribal power, I'm at the top of 106. Tribal power and all the issues related to it are energetically connected to the health of our immune system, as well as to our legs, our bones, our feet, and our rectum. Symbolically, the immune system does for the physical body exactly what tribal power does for the group. It protects the entire body from potentially damaging external influences. And so, yes, we do have to get control of that base root chakra and those issues. And and I don't even know, because I will say that I have had my own issues, not in my immediate family. Elwin, let me tell you this. Back when we put my dad in hospice, I remember somebody saying to me, ooh, started telling me about how I needed to become litigious with my family. You need to protect your interests. You need to file a motion in court and do this and do that. And I was like looking at them like, why would I do that? And it was almost as if to say, protect yourself. And I'm saying, protect myself from my family?
Right.
That's not how we roll. if
Right.
nothing else, I'm supposed to, I get closer to my family. My family of origin is not like that.
Right.
We trust the love that we have for one another. And so I think that one of the things that I have always tried to do is to present a different perspective of family to people by by just showing and demonstrating what it is that we've learned all of our lives.
Right.
Now,
Right.
at times we have had some challenges. At times we have gone through some stuff, but that's like momentary, because what we did is we learned as kids that we fight, but then we make up. I mean, you don't have the option of staying mad for even 24 hours. That is not an option, because my parents we didn't play that. So even when we get mad, it is with okay, I'm mad, but I have to resolve this. I have to resolve this. And so with that efforting to resolve, that's what we have done. And so that makes it sometimes hard when you are in the company of other people who have learned how to fight, right? Because we have not always been effective fighters. I will say that. One of my brother's wives came back and said, he doesn't fight very well. Yeah, that's not how we were raised. We are not that. We are not that. We are like, let's look for resolution. We are
Right.
trying to figure out
Right.
how to one up. And then when you hurt us, it's like, the thing is not to double down in the fight. The thing is like, oh, I gotta go over here and lick my wounds, because I can't even believe you came at me like that. And so I will tell you, I have walked away from a lot of relationships because I'm thinking to myself, if you can talk to me like that, you are not the person for me. Right? I don't know any guy that I have ever stayed in contact with that has called me out of my name. You just can't do that with me. I don't play that. Not even in nowhere. I'm just sorry, it just don't happen. Just don't even happen. Somebody used to hit that. As a matter of fact, one of the people I was talking about as the example, he called me a bimbo. Dude, what? Oh, bimbo ain't negative. Oh, yes, it is.
Well, what is it?
Oh, yes, it is.
What?
We don't play that.
To say it's not negative.
Huh? Yeah.
To say it's not negative, like what yard you come from?
Yeah, shucks. Look.
To say that's not negative.
That just don't happen. Whatever. That just don't happen. And another thing was my parents, my parents in particular used to have, I've heard other people's siblings tell each other, I hate you.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would not have happened in my house.
That's such a strong word, isn't it?
Yes, that
strong word was forbade.
That was so anyway. But yeah, there was a lot. My mother was a hellion. If she called you, and I know that there's a lot of people in our community that was brought up the same way. If she called your name, like if she said Stephanie, if you said what? That was like one of those
cussing. That's like swearing at your parents.
Yes, that you would have one of those like like she gonna come in there like you can hear the spurs on her thing. You say to me, No, you did not say what to my mama.
Yeah, those
We
type of
learned
things.
a
Yeah.
strong sense of respect. So yes, those things were just so. So all of this resonates to this sense of family and this first chakra issues. And so sometimes we are susceptible from the overall consciousness. It is still to be seen what the ramifications of this pandemic that we are under, but trust and believe that a lot of times while we see this as an individual thing that the United States is under, it is the world that
The
is
world. Yeah.
under this pandemic. And how we navigate ourselves through this will make all the difference in the world. A lot of times what we do is we get so myopic in our sight, meaning kind of single-sighted. We get so myopic in how we see things that we don't realize that, that all people are really having a hard time navigating their way through this. And so,
If we can understand that.
yes, yes, and not call this some kind of Chinese or Asian thing. Let's send some forgiving and healing energy towards them, because how dare we put this at their feet and leave it there? It is a collective experience that all the countries are going through.
Right.
As a matter of fact, there was a woman who I was, and I know I'm talking a lot, Stephanie, but there was a woman that I was talking to that was from India. She had called me, or I had made contact with her through trying to contract some stuff. I go on little sites where you contract people from different countries to do work for you. And so I was talking to this woman from India, and she said to me that, you had to have a pass in order to go out of your home. And she was talking about how many people were, the kind of stuff that they were experiencing, and they were not having help from their government. So she said they were having suicides like crazy.
Wow.
Entire families would commit suicide as opposed to sitting there and watching each other starve to death. And this was the kind of stuff. So when you talk about the numbers based on the pandemic, those have to be counted or included in there, because they are a direct cause. Even though you may not be dying from COVID, you are dying from the starvation or the hunger.
Fallout. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, so she would talk about how if you went out of, say, for instance, the way that she described her, where she lived is almost like I guess it's like an apartment building with a courtyard in the middle, and that mostly everything that you needed could be found within that particular place. So if you needed to go to the store, it was within that particular compound. You would just kind of go down to the central park. But if you went out onto the street outside of that, she was like, you would get arrested. You had to have a pass that your family would, and you only got it. And I was like thinking, where do you put all the people at if they get arrested? I mean, that's got to be. And so when you think about the stuff that other countries are struggling through, right? I feel so honored and so blessed.
Yeah.
I feel so honored and so blessed, to be able to shelter in place. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But the oneness of it all. Just the oneness of it all. As a woman of African American descendants, African slaves, fear is a energy that runs through the system of my family of origin. And it has stopped and held back, and so many gifts and talents and voices and ideas and creativity, because of fear of shining forward, or fear of being arrested, or fear of being rejected. And then you add the religious component. Fear God gonna get you. There's so much fear, and where the fear and love, they just can't dwell in the same place. So there's always this this paradox or dichotomy that's constantly going on, which is a double bind, which is like the number one symptom, or acid, the drop for schizophrenia, mental health disorders and challenges. Because when you are in this place where I know what I want to do, and then when I reach to do it, I don't get the applause and the rah-rah, not because my family doesn't love me, but because they sitting back like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is she gonna
Stay
be
in your
okay?
place.
Is she gonna be, yes, is she gonna be okay? Like, and then they use, stuff like, yeah, your ass will be back here, stuff like that. It's like, well, thank you for the vote of confidence. And so then you go on this hero's journey away without anybody celebrating the adventures that you're headed on. And so this collectiveness and this oneness is not, we do it, but it's so not, it doesn't do us any service to be very matter of fact about it, because it's a big, it's really, really a big deal. So much so, like even in the Think and Grow Rich books about the masterminds, that's intentional to create those masterminds, to have a oneness and a collective consciousness, to develop and build. That's intentional, because it's in the oneness where the energy comes and the synergy comes and all of the sparks and all the ideas come. But those people who created those mastermind groups, they left their families of origin. They didn't leave them physically. I'm saying they had to come and create a room, a space of oneness. And it just goes to show how important being on the same accord is, and the oneness that is healing, and that there's just so much power in the oneness, and we cannot take that for granted. We can't, and we can't worry about what the people's motives or intentions are, but if we just become super, super aware and not and just understand the oneness, understand this is showing up in my space. Oh, let me check me.
Yes. Andre said, well said, well spoken. So it is absolutely, when you touch on that idea about the fear that we have, one of the things that I am concerned about too is how much fear our young Black men, it's kind of like that same image. I see them carrying around this weight of generational stuff, and we've got all of this fear that surrounds them, fear of them and fear for them.
Yes.
That
yes. Double
seems
bind.
like it just crazy. And so when we start to change or think about how we can change that narrative so that we can speak to something different, we can call forth something different out of that scenario. I think that is one of those major things that we have to see is necessary to turn around the energy that we are putting out there into society.
I think something that you said, Sandra, is that ability to see God in it all.
Yes.
Like, help me to shift my paradigm about this, and make sure that I'm actually in this now moment, and I'm not operating from the elusive place, the illusion place, that shit gone bad, stuff gone wrong. That may not be the truth. And if I could dare to look behind the curtain, I could see something different. Let me see you in this person that I would naturally say there's something wrong with them. Because I live with older parents. And so I watch my parents. If I weren't here, they could easily be closed up in this house, where I was raised in an environment where we knew everybody on our street. that you knew everybody,
Right.
and sometimes you might even know their business, but you knew everyone. So when I came home, our street, with this street, my grandfather built this home from the ground, and so all the people around us were the people who built their houses from the ground. And so now all those people who I grew up are passing away, and so either their children have the houses or somebody sold it, and it's a shift, and it's different. And so and then my parents are in an age where their peers are passing away or transitioning as well. And so it would have been easy. I saw how they were just closed up in their own little world. And then I started introducing myself. These young boys walking down the street, pants down. Hey, I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Or they'd be cussing and stuff. I'd be like, hey, you don't see this queen standing
Right.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
my heart, my ears. I'm so dramatic. I raise boys, so I learned how to do that. But like my heart, my ears, I'm Miss Stephanie. You guys be mindful of that. Be mindful. I can't handle that. I can't.
Right.
And then when they come past my house, I don't have that experience. And they always waving. And my mother was like, you have just made, I was like, I got to keep these people close. And I want them to know that love is real.
Right.
That love is real. Every Black woman ain't cussing you out and calling your names and rolling their eyes and talking behind your back. But being able to see them as a people of hope, as opposed to here they come, these kids on the street, but they're here. They're here. And this is an opportunity for us to see them different and to see God in them. I think that is so rich. What would it mean for me to see God and this person here with their head down walking? I'm like, hello, what's going on?
Yeah. And I love, and that's one of the things that I love about, even where I am. I took a picture yesterday of these little kids playing with my dog, but loving the fact that, people run over to me like, Miss Sandra, I got into college. Or Miss Sandra, I got this, or I got, and sharing with me stuff that has happened for them, because they know I'm gonna be in their corner celebrating. But it just, some of this stuff is just, and then sometimes it's heartbreaking too.
It is.
Sometimes it's really heartbreaking too.
So we have work to do, and that oneness is so important. We are all in this together. Don't let anybody tell you, don't believe the hype. We're in this. Yeah. We are all in this together.
Yes, right. And the more we allow the media to dictate how it is that we relate to one another, the worse we are for it. Because what they will do is show an image of why you should be afraid. And we are saying
separate.
You can't, if you fear something, you can't love it because you can't draw it close to you. So let me read this little bit about here. It talks about HIV. It goes through and it talks about how HIV kind of went through cultures, and it said viewed symbolically. I'm skipping over a whole lot because I don't want to sit here and read a book to you.
Right.
Viewed symbolically, the HIV virus emerged into the US culture just as the issue of victimization became mainstream. So the cultural energy of our own country is being depleted by the need that some have to feel empowered at the expense of others deemed less valuable. And so we have to make sure that that we, I'm saying this from a particular perspective, that you do not merely become clanging cymbals, that you are not merely accepting just what is being said without challenging it. This has to go through the filter of your own mind. And if a butterfly, as they say, flapping its wings in the Amazon affects things right here, then your thought systems also affect those that are around.
Yes.
There are no private energies, private thoughts. All of this stuff is felt. And so they will feel your love as surely as they feel your hate and
Or
contempt.
fear. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
or fear. Yes. If you feel victimized by society, for example, you should deal with this negative perception so that it does not cause you to lose energy. So if you are feeling somehow judged, that's one of the things I talk about all the time, is that prayer I make over myself. Like, may all who look at me, who see me, who encounter me, be blessed simply because of that encounter. And so if I'm blessing myself, that means that I change around the narrative of worrying about what you looking at. I'm taking control of, this thing, because what I know is my presence is a blessing, right? And so I think that all of
It's
us,
so true.
all of us can be about the business of stop worrying about, oh, she looking at my roles. No, she looking at my blessings. Those whatever you seeing is blessing you, right? So we got to change around. Do what it is that you need to do in order to know that you are walking in love, that you are walking in light, that you are the blessing, and send that out too.
It's all energy. All energy. Mm.
She says nurturing bitterness toward the cultural tribe embroils your energy in a continual inner conflict that blocks access to the healing power of the sacred truth that all is one, right? So
Yes.
don't bitterness, ooh, don't. So she
Stop
goes on,
there.
huh?
So we
You say,
probably should stop there. Because
okay.
that we can, I mean, because that right there is just something that needs to be like chewed on. I don't think that, yeah. Anyway, that's my humble opinion. But
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good
I
because
think
we
that
are at
is,
the bottom of the hour.
yeah, I think that that's really good that we understand the energy that we bringing in, pulling it all over into the next thing, and then we're wondering why we can't get up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Have the energy or the power to go to the next place because we're holding bitterness and unforgiveness and shame.
Yeah. And she says here too, get therapeutic support, right? If you feel like you are hemorrhaging energy, if you can't see or figure out how to do it, if you feel like illness is setting up in your body, you can feel it coming, but you don't know what it, you don't have the framework to figure it out for yourself. Get some help, right? Start to talk to somebody who can help you analyze, a partner, get a therapist, or somebody that can help you in discovering what it is that you need to do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of asking the question, right?
Yes.
Like if I was to turn and say, hey, I feel like I'm losing energy. What do you think that could be? Right? Sometimes it's as simple as that. I got friends who I have known over the years, and I can see when they have made shifts in their life. I got a girlfriend who one time I was talking to her, and I said, right after you got fired from that job, your life took a left turn. And and I could identify it, especially when I looked back over it. I could say, oh, I remember noticing the change when this happened. Or I remember noticing the change when that engagement, when you cut that off. Or, you can kind of talk about and realize when people sometimes, make a big shift without really, because most of the time, I don't know, you know, it is what it is. You just kind of like, oh, okay. You know, we see it shows up in people's finances, it shows up in their conversation, it shows up in a whole bunch of different ways. Sometimes all it is just being curious about it. And then
Mindful.
yeah, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do to shift this energy around?
That's the goal.
And I think you said something to me. Wasn't that you who said something to me like, "Oh, I saw you. I saw that on my face," or something I said yesterday. You was like, "Yeah, I saw that on your face." Like, and we show it when we touch one of those spots. It shows. So I thank you. I thank you. I thank you.
Thank you. And thank everyone. I'm so grateful and humble for the opportunity to just be able to stir this pot, and you know, let the aromas of it just
Yeah,
the
it's so
atmosphere.
good for me too. Yeah, it is. You know, this has been such a blessing for me in my life, right? I could talk about all the ways in which, yeah, I've been blessed, but just walking through this, again with a partner now,
I
you know, because I read this
know.
before and I read it and I was doing it for the most part by myself, but now it's like I got yeah, I got you on this journey with me and all of these other folks. So
Yes,
I'm
yes. So
so great.
good. It's time. I love the feeling of the timing. The timing just feels like, yep, this makes sense right
Yeah,
now. This
yeah, yeah.
all good, good yumminess. Happy Monday. I am getting ready to get on with my marathon. This is my day that I have back-to-back people.
Ah,
So this message is good. I'm pulling energy from everybody that's sending it to me today. And yeah, be excited. I'm excited.
look, Andre says a very good look and combo.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We'll take
Thank
that.
you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Andre. I'm glad you're here. All right, yeah. I love and adore you all. We will be here same time tomorrow. And if you know, you can share this or you can tell other folks that we are here and that we are working through this, especially if you know that they've got some energy that's setting up in them. I tell you, it is one of the things that Stephanie said yesterday too is if you just go up to a person and say, you know what, I think that relationship is killing you, or I think that job is killing you, that don't work. But sometimes when people just hear their stuff in the stuff that we're talking about anyway,
Right. It's like,
yeah, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. We don't know. It makes it totally impersonal and
that's
maybe
right.
to easier
To
to
stay open to it because I don't know you.
yeah. Who we talking to? We just don't hear. Look, and that's what I used to tell people all the time at church. I was like, you just eavesdropping on a conversation that I'm having because I don't know. I ain't talking. I ain't, you know, I
Right.
ain't right about you. People get so paranoid. How she know that? You must have told.
That's energy. That's all. That's
Yeah.
all. That's the love of life leading and directing you to this space.
All right. So y'all, so pray for me and my taxes.
Yes, you got
It's about
this.
to be done.
And so it is.
All right. So
All right.
blessings.
Have a good one.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All
All right.
righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.